Alright, let's talk about something that's been low-key bugging me since Saturday morning cartoons were my entire personality. Why do cartoon characters always have the worst parents? Like, is there a secret rule in animation that you're only allowed to have a kid protagonist if their parents are emotionally unavailable, ridiculously incompetent, or just straight up missing? Are we accidentally saying, sorry kids, good parenting just doesn't make for good TV? Now, before you grab your pitchforks and start defending Marge Simpson or Danny Phantom's mom, we'll get to them. Let me clarify. I'm not saying all cartoon parents are bad in the same way. Some of them are trying their best, but are kind of clueless. Others are literally the reason their kids need therapy.
I hate my family.
And then there are the ones who are so absent, they're practically cryptids. We're diving into all of it, so grab a snack, buckle up, and let's unpack this animated mess. Let's kick things off with the most common trope. Where are these kids' parents? Take Ash Ketchum from Pokemon, for example. Dude's mom is just chilling at home while her 10-year-old son roams the countryside, battling electric rodents and getting zapped by Team Rocket on the daily. Like, does she even know what type of insurance covers Pikachu-related injuries? Then there's the entire Disney princess lineup. Cinderella's parents, dead. Snow White's parents, dead or MIA. Rapunzel, trapped in a tower because her real mom couldn't keep track of her magical garden. It's like the animators went, you know what'll really tug on the heartstrings? Parental neglect and abandonment. Slap a catchy song on it and we've got a hit. Why this works for the narrative? Missing parents equal maximum freedom for shenanigans, like kids can't save the world or overthrow an evil queen if their mom's asking, did you finish your homework? But on the flip side, it teaches us that adventure only happens when your parents are either gone or completely checked out. Yikes. Let's not forget Max and Ruby, the ultimate poster kids for missing parents. Max, a mischievous toddler, and Ruby, his overly responsible older sister, navigate their world with no adult supervision in sight. Ruby is supposed to be 7 years old. 7. That's barely old enough to do multiplication, let alone raise a younger brother who is perpetually causing chaos. The absence of their parents forces Ruby to grow up way too quickly, taking on a parental role instead of just being a kid herself. This dynamic hits a nerve for anyone who's ever had to act as the second parent in their family. It's both bad and traumatic for an older sibling to carry that kind of responsibility at such a young age. While it's fun to watch Ruby try to keep Max in line, it's also a little heartbreaking to think about the weight on her tiny shoulders. Would Max and Ruby be the same without this setup? Probably not, but it does shine a spotlight on how often cartoons romanticize something that's actually kind of bleak in real life. If they're not missing, they're probably smothering their kids into oblivion. Exhibit A, Timmy Turner's parents in The Fairly Odd Parents. Timmy's mom and dad are so self-absorbed that they leave him with a sadistic babysitter and don't even notice when he's using fairy magic to clean up their chaos. Like, what part of making your kid's life so miserable that he gets assigned magical therapists screams Parent of the Year? Then you've got Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers. While she's super supportive, her brand of parenting involves singing weird songs at inappropriate times and encouraging Tina's erotic zombie fanfiction. It's sweet. I love Linda. I wish she was my mom. Please, don't crucify me. But it's also why Tina has no concept of boundaries. Why this works?
I'm a bad mom. I'm tired.
Overbearing parents are comedy gold. They're walking cringe factories, and we love to laugh at their antics, but these characters rarely show how this level of parenting impacts kids long term, like Timmy, are you okay? Blink twice if you're not. The elusive, cool parent. Think Goofy from a Goofy movie. Goofy is trying so hard to connect with Max, but his goofy, pun intended, antics just embarrass his kid. The irony? By trying to be cool, he makes himself the opposite. Or take Greg Universe from Steven Universe. He's supportive, chill, and always down to jam. But let's not ignore the fact that Steven's living in a literal war zone with space gems while Greg's sleeping in a van. Cool parents are fun to watch, but their hands-off style can feel like neglect in disguise. Sure, they're supportive, but where's the structure? Where's the, hey, maybe don't fuse with the alien warriors until you're 18 talk? And then there are the parents who are just bad.
Ah, damn it, Meg!
Like not morally gray, but full-on antagonists. Take Fire Lord Ozai from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This guy's parenting strategy was basically, what if I traumatize my kids into becoming weapons of mass destruction? Spoiler alert, it did not work out. Zuko's got a scar that'll haunt his therapy sessions forever, and Azula, She's one breakdown away from burning the whole Fire Nation down. Or how about Mr. and Mrs. Watterson from The Amazing World of Gumball? Sure, they're hilarious, but let's not forget that Richard's laziness and Nicole's rage issues create half the problems their kids have to solve. It's like they're actively auditioning for world's worst parents while their kids pick up the slack. Why this works. Villain parents make great foils for hero kids. The worse the parent, the better the redemption arc. But these relationships would be the subject of multiple Dr. Phil episodes. Some parents are technically around, but might as well not be. Think Stan and Francine Smith from American Dad, or Peter and Lois Griffin from Family Guy. These parents are so busy with their own chaotic lives that their kids are basically raising themselves. Chris Griffin exists in his own little world. Meg's just there. Stewie had the right idea to end them first, and Steve Smith is one bad day away from becoming a Bond villain. Why this works. It's all about the absurdity. These parents are so detached from reality that it creates hilarious situations, but let's be real. If you saw these families in real life, you'd be calling CPS. Let's dive into a category that's both funny and frustrating. Parents who have no idea they're being bad parents. Peter and Lois Griffin from Family Guy are prime examples, especially in the episode Seahorse Seashell Party. In this episode, the Griffins are stuck inside during a storm, and it becomes painfully obvious that Peter and Lois are entirely oblivious to how toxic their behavior is. Lois gaslights Meg, while Peter constantly makes things worse with his antics, all under the guise of family bonding. They genuinely think they're helping, but their actions leave Meg emotionally wrecked. This cluelessness adds a layer of dark humor to their characters. We laugh because it's ridiculous, but it's also unsettling. The Griffins' dynamic highlights how some parents' lack of self-awareness can exacerbate their kids' struggles. It's both a comedic trope and a cautionary tale, even if it's wrapped up in absurdity. And we've seen a lot of think pieces on Meg's horrible treatment from her parents, right? But all the kids are neglected to a certain extent. Let's not only focus on Meg. I'm an equal opportunist. The baby is supposed to be monitored 24/7, but has time to build a time machine and get into all kinds of shenanigans. But I guess I'm being unfair. The dog babysits him, so it's okay. Why this works. Clueless parents are relatable. Everyone's had moments of obliviousness. But when pushed to extremes, it's a goldmine for humor and drama. However, it's also a stark reminder that I didn't know better doesn't erase the impact of bad parenting. Here's the thing about bad parents, they give us some of the most iconic characters in animation. Would Zuko be the complex, brooding firebender we all stan if Fire Lord Ozai wasn't the world's worst dad? Would Azula have become one of the most chilling villains in animation history if she hadn't been pushed to perfection by a manipulative parent? It's not just Zuko and Azula. Look at Helga Pataki from Hey Arnold. Her mom is an alcoholic, her dad openly favors her sister, and yet Helga's trauma gives her depth and complexity that make her more than just a mean girl. Or how about BoJack Horseman? His toxic parents shaped his self-destructive tendencies, which became the backbone of one of the most compelling narratives in adult animation. Why this works? Trauma is a powerful storytelling tool. Flawed parents create flawed kids, and flawed kids make for dynamic, relatable characters. But it begs the question, could these stories work if the parents were good? Could Zuko still be Zuko if Ozai was a loving, supportive dad? Maybe, but it would require a fundamentally different story, one that might not have the same emotional weight. However, not every great character needs a tragic backstory. Look at SpongeBob SquarePants. His parents are perfectly normal, yet he's still one of the most beloved characters of all time. It's proof that while bad parenting can enhance a narrative, it's not the only way to create compelling stories. Now let's give credit where it's due. Not all cartoon parents are disasters. Marge Simpson, for instance, is basically the glue holding the Simpson family together. Sure, she's got her quirks, who doesn't? But she genuinely tries to keep Bart out of Juvie and Homer from, well, being Homer. Same goes for Mr. and Mrs. Proud from the Proud family. They're supportive, hardworking, and clearly love Penny, even if they occasionally embarrass her with their over-the-top antics. But here's the thing. Even the good parents in cartoons are still flawed because perfection isn't funny. And that's kind of the whole point. So, why do bad parents work? At the end of the day, bad parenting in cartoons serves a purpose. It creates conflict, drives the plot, and gives the kids room to shine. Imagine if every cartoon kid had perfect parents who always knew what to do. The stories would be over in 5 minutes. Ash's mom would call him home for dinner, and Zuko would have gone to therapy instead of hunting the Avatar. But here's where it doesn't work. It normalizes the idea that kids have to fend for themselves or fix their parents' mistakes. While it's fun to watch on screen, it can send a weird message, like maybe we don't need to romanticize neglect and incompetence as much as we do. Why are bad cartoon parents iconic? They're messy, funny, and sometimes downright evil, but they make for great storytelling. Whether they're missing, smothering, or straight up villainous, they force their kids to step up and be the heroes of their own stories. And while that's entertaining, maybe it's time we gave some love to the parents who are doing their best, even if they're still a hot mess. So next time you're watching your favorite cartoon, take a moment to appreciate the chaos, and maybe call your own parents to say thanks for not being Fire Lord Ozai, unless they are, in which case, good luck with that.